So in some countries there are various beautiful colorways of the Saucony Endorphin Azura, and in Australia, women at least can buy it in this lovely color. But in the Australian market for men, there's only this right now. The sort of shoe you might wear to a dress-up party if you're going as a robot or the Tin Man. Anyway, today I'm going to try and look past the silvery grey blandness of the new Saucony Endorphin Azura to let you know whether this latest daily trainer lives up to the enormous hype that has surrounded it ever since its recent release. Let's chat. Hi there, I'm Chris. I'm Benny's dad and a journalist who loves to cut through the hype and tell it like it is. Today I'm looking at the Saucony Endorphin Azura, a new daily trainer that some people have described as the Saucony Endorphin Speed minus the nylon plate. Since its release, many have discussed whether the Saucony Endorphin Azura might be competition for the all-conquering Adidas Evo SL. And this is especially interesting now the Evo's crown is no longer under threat from the Super Blast since the release of the incredibly high quality but overly soft Super Blast 3. So all of that means this shoe lands in a really interesting place. Just like the Evo SL, it boasts its brand's super foam, the same foam that appears in the Saucony Endorphin Pro 5. Although the Saucony Endorphin Pro 5 also mixes in PWRRUN HG foam and a carbon plate. And just like the Evo SL, the Azura has no plate in the midsole, although the Evo SL of course does have that tiny little plastic shank to add a little bit of stability. Also, just like the Evo SL, the Azura adds some really interesting geometry. In the case of the Saucony shoe, it is this very steep and pronounced rocker at the front of the shoe, which starts very early under the midfoot and then rises at quite a steep angle. This rocker geometry, which Saucony refers to as speed roll, has long been a defining feature of the Saucony Endorphin series. But on the Endorphin Pro and the Endorphin Speed, Saucony has begun to back off a little bit on the angle of that rocker. However, on the Azura, it is as pronounced as ever, and I think that's a good thing. It's got a high stack, just over 40 mil in the back to just over 32 mil in the front for an 8 mil drop. So on paper, this should be fast and efficient and versatile. And in a lot of ways, it really is. But the Azura isn't just characterized by what it shares with its racier cousins at Saucony. It also has character all of its own. Some of that is good, some of it not so good. The not so good is that there's quite a bit of fussiness, particularly around the upper, when you compare it to the Evo SL and the simplicity and the lack of extra fussiness around the upper. What we see here is additions along both sides of the upper, then a relatively hard, almost leathery wrap around the heel cup, then a hard plastic thick decoration on the back of the heel cup, and also this shiny silver coating that goes the whole way down the tongue. Without all of these extras around the upper, I think this could have been a much lighter shoe. Although it's certainly not a heavy shoe, this weighs in on my dodgy kitchen scales at 240 grams. So for such a high quality shoe with so many additions, some of which are structurally essential and some of which are probably not, that's actually a very lightweight shoe for its class. And it is a very comfortable shoe. It feels as if you stepped into something of real substance, of real quality. That shiny robot tongue is gusseted on both sides and it fits around your foot like a sock. The padding around that solid heel cup is luxurious. There is plenty of room up front for my relatively wide feet. It fits true to size, and the laces, although they're a tiny bit stretchy, are perfectly long enough for any type of knot. Imagine that, Adidas. Laces long enough to do their actual job. Who would have thought? Speaking of doing a job, Benny and I buy all of our own shoes for reviewing on this channel so that we can bring you the honest, unbiased truth. You can help to support us for free by clicking like and subscribe below this video. Thank you so much. Speaking of laces, this choice of 3 lace holes that the Azura offers is always very welcome. I have found doing the runner's lacing that using the bottom two holes actually achieves the best lockdown. And finally, on the upper, despite all of the fussiness, it does breathe very well. I've done some very hot runs and some quite fast runs in the Azura, and I've not experienced any overheating issues. Moving to the midsole, and the beaded PWRRUN PB foam is absolutely delightful. I've heard some describe it as firm, but I think that's actually quite misleading. It is not soft. It's not Superblast 3 marshmallowy soft. It is not even Adidas Evo SL soft, but it is far from firm. I don't mind a firm shoe, but this is not firm. Your feet do sink into the foam, but without that sinking feeling. And in terms of responsiveness, there's no awkward delay as it bounces you back. It responds immediately. Even when you're just walking around in this shoe, you can feel its springiness. It has a really good level of bounce, of comfort, and of responsiveness, which we will discuss more when we come to the running experience. Then we move to the outsole, which reminds me in its lovely translucent nature of the Hoka Cielo X1 3.0. Saucony calls this their XT900 premium carbon rubber. Carbon rubber is a mix of rubber and carbon granules, which makes the outsole material more resistant to abrasion. And as far as I can tell for this outsole at least, it is going to last a very long time before it wears down. That is more than I can say, however, for the midsole, because after only about 40 kilometers of running, it is starting to degrade a little. Where the midsole touches down, it is beginning to show signs of wear already. This is the sort of wear that only began to show on, say, my Superblast 2s after about 500 or 600 kilometers. This is already showing after 40 kilometers on the midsole of the Azura. But because it has such excellent outsole coverage, I hope this won't be a long-term durability problem. And the black line, by the way, might look like a reveal for a carbon plate, but it's not. It's just a painted black line. So how is the running experience in the Saucony Endorphin Azura? It is good. Just good? What I mean is that it's good at everything. It's comfortable. It's good at running slow. It's good at picking up the pace. It's good at holding a fast pace. It's good for short runs. It's good for long runs. It's good. It's also very stable, considering its stack. I would happily walk around all day in the Azuras, as well as take it for a 20 or 30 kilometer run. And that speed roll rocker is something that I absolutely love. There's a real sense of forward roll as you run. It really wants to tip you forward, this shoe, which is great for picking up the pace, but also strangely comfortable at an easy pace. Also, and this is something I don't think I've said about any other shoe, it is a great midsole for heel strikers. Actually, it's a great shoe for people who heel strike or midfoot strike or forefoot strike. The combination of the rocker, the geometry, the stability, and that slightly firmer platform means it's really good for any type of landing. It's a shoe that just helps you roll through each step very naturally. So with all of these great performance points, why do I say it's just good? And that, I think, is because it's not exciting. And that's fine. The Evo SL is somehow exciting. I'm not quite sure what it is about it, but it's something to do with the particular bounce of the foam in the Evo SL that makes it really exciting to run in. It has the sort of magic that makes people just fall in love with it. In the same way, the Metaspeed Sky is a really exciting shoe because of its bounce. I think the Hoka Cielo X1 3.0 is also a really exciting shoe for the same reason. But the Azura, it's just really good at everything. It's reliable. It's a little bit predictable, and that's fine. Does it mean the Evo SL's crown is under threat? No, it doesn't. And that's kind of weird because the Azura is actually a much better shoe than the Evo in a lot of ways. It's more stable, it's more structured, it's higher quality. In most territories, it's at about the same price point as the Evo SL. It's more comfortable, it's better for really long runs. It's delivered with proper laces. And an added bonus, it's perfect to wear next time you need to dress up as a robot. The Saucony Endorphin Azura is a perfect choice for just about every runner. But it does not have that X factor. The Evo SL somehow is just more fun, and that's fine. So try it. I think you'll really like it. That's because the Saucony Endorphin Azura is good. It's really good. Thank you so much for joining me. If you got anything out of this episode, then please help out by clicking like and subscribe below. That helps this little channel a lot. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.